Hello friends, welcome. Friends, today we are going to talk about a very important tip for Tableau which you will find very effective. Now friends, when you are using a dashboard with a flexible time scale, so if you look at this dashboard, I have got a flexible time scale where there is a drop down menu where I can choose month, quarter and year. So depending upon the choice, this time scale is going to change. So as soon as I've chosen, like you see, as soon as I've chosen quarter, the time scale has changed. But unfortunately, whatever time that you see on the dashboard, it kind of for the quarter selection is gives you the starting month of the quarter, which is a very non-intuitive kind of display. Similarly, if I choose year, it is going to give you the starting month of the calendar year or the financial year. Like you see here, the starting month of the calendar year. Now what I want is that as soon as I choose quarter, it should tell me which particular quarter of the financial year this particular data represents. That's what the intent of this video is, right? You cannot do it through the ground up capability of Tableau, because as soon as you do formatting and you go into formatting to change the format of that x-axis date, you will find that this formatting is static for all different choices. So if you make a choice of month, and year, this is going to get reflected in the other choices as well. So you are not going will not be able to make these changes by default simple formatting option of Tableau. So what you need to write a calculated field. So I'm going to show you how this can be done very easily using a calculated field. That's the whole purpose of the video. So I'll remove this from the display and I'm going to bring in fresh sheet so that I can create the dashboard ground up for you to see. So here is a new sheet to start with. So let me just put it right in front of you, the table. So here is the sheet, right? So what I've done in this sheet is that I have uploaded a data set, and this data set, you don't have to worry about this data set, just a data set I have uploaded, a random data set, right? Now, for me to create a dashboard similar to what you saw, I have to create some calculated fields. So let me just create some custom dates. So custom date is years. So I say year, and then I say quarter. So I'll create another custom date, create custom date quarter, and then I'll create another custom date, create custom date year, right? So I create 3 custom dates. Sorry, year is already there, so I have to create months. Okay, so 3 custom date has been created. Now I have to create a parameter to anchor these custom dates in a calculated field so that I can put it on the columns of the time scale. So I'll create a calculated field. So let me just create a parameter. So let me choose parameter. Let it come. Yeah, here's the parameter. So I'll call this parameter time metric. Okay. So this will be of type string, and I choose month, and I say quarter, and then I say year. Okay, and say enter, and I say okay. Now I also have to define the width of the end window in time units. So I'll choose another parameter. I'll make another parameter called time units in view. So I say this will be integer. So this will define how many time units you want to view at a time, right, in the dashboard. So I'll say okay. Then I have to make another parameter, create another parameter which will define the end of the window, because the window will have 2 dates, the starting date of the window and the end of the window, right? So I'll just create another parameter. So create parameter which will define the end of the window. So create parameter, so I'll say window end date. So this is going to be picked up directly from the data set. So I'll say yeah, this, and say list, and then I'll say, sorry, not this. When the workbook opens, you pick up the dates directly from the data sets. So it gets populated with this. After having done this, I'm going to create the time parameter. So I'll create a calculated field which will say time frame. This is a frame on which these 3 metrics are going to get anchored. So I'll say it will be a case statement the time metric, and then I say when month, then date months. Simple case statement. When quarter, then date quarter, and then it will say when year, then date years. And I'll close this with an end statement, right? So this is okay. So this is basically defining. So I'm going to put time frame here. So before I do that, I need to create some more calculated field. So I'll create another calculated field because I have a parameter of window end date. I have to put it in a calculated field. So it'll say window. So it'll call window end date, and I'll put the parameter here, window end date, right? Otherwise it's not going to work. Then I have to create another calculated field which will say in window start date, right? So window start date. So the window start date will be what? It will be simply a date add function which will say date add, because I am basically moving from the end of the window to the start of the window. So I am going to basically date add with a negative time units in view parameter. So it will be time metric. One parameter will be time metric. The starting thing will be time metric, and then the negative sign, it will say time units in view, and it will be window end date, right? And then I'll just encircle this with a date function so that to remove the time part of from it, so that it does not show me the time part. I'll say okay. So this is done. So after this has been done, I have to create the window width also, because that is going to be a Boolean function which will define the width of the window. So I'll say window width. So window width is it's a very simple function. It will basically say if I say window start date, right, and is less than time frame, and time frame is less than equal to window end date, then true, else false, and then say end, right? Simple. So we say okay. Now let's start populating this on the dashboard, on the worksheet. So I'll put time frame here, and I'll say discrete. So discrete is already selected, so I'll simply basically make it exact date. Then I'll choose one of the measure. I can choose any of the measure here. There are multiple measures available, so I'll choose one of the measure here and I'll put it here. Okay, right? And this is discrete. See, I'll put the window width here to select the size of the window. I'll make it okay. So the window size. So why you see everything has gone? Because the window end date has to be selected at the starting date of the year. Let me do this. Let me make it as a slider. It will be easy to select. So I'll make it here. So you'll find that this whole thing will get populated, and I'll say whole screen, entire view. Then I have to bring the time dates on the top. So it's very simple to do. So I'll go to advanced, and I'll just uncheck this, and the whole thing is going to go top, and I'll hide this. Now you see this, and in order to make it more clear, what I'll do is I'll just format this, and I'll do formatting, and after formatting I'll just make the columns a little more clearer so that you can distinguish between various columns, right? So you see here the columns are distinguished. So this is there. Then I can choose the formatting now, but it will be a waste of time. So now let's go to the meat of the presentation. Now in order to define the formatting, I need to create another calculated field called time frame formatting, right? Time frame formatted. So this is called time frame formatted, formatted. Now this time frame formatted, because this will be a lot of calculations to write, so I'm just simply cut and paste from calculation which I have already done, and I'm going to explain to you what it basically means. I'll just cut and I'll paste it here and say V paste, and then I'll say OK. And I'll explain to you what it means, but let me just tell you how it works. So you put it here. Now once you have put it here, you see that because there is a month selection, let me just go and show my parameter, time metric, show parameter. So here I show parameter month. Now as soon as I do quarter, you'll see that the quarter thing is, see, this is automatically changed to quarter. And if I do year, it will automatically change to year. Now these are very clearly visible. Now this is basically coming as a distraction. So what you do is that you just uncheck the show header. Now everything falls in place, right? Now what I'll do is that time units in view, show parameter, and I'll restrict the time units to, let's say, 10. So the numbers of time units are restricted to 10. Now why it is showing 2, 2, 2? Because this is financial year 2015-16. There are two financial year which are shown up. So what I'll do, I'll basically make it quarter. And depending upon what you want to do, this can be very clearly, because the data was such type that is why it was showing up to, because what I might have done here, I have, just a minute, let me just see. Yeah, I can just make it this. I think then the things will be better, things will be fine. Okay, so these also have to be changed then. Let me just do a change here. Yeah, so you see that it is now working, right? Depending upon, so as soon as I put time frame formatted here, so you see that you simply have to remove the header here. Once you remove the header, then the whole thing starts functioning properly, right? Now how this is working, let's understand the formula. Right? So once you understand the formula, the things will become very, very clear. So how it is functioning? So it is functioning because of the following reasons. So let's look at the formula. So what the formula is telling us, it is looking at the selection of the parameter. So this is a parameter which you select. Once you select a particular parameter, then it basically looks at the parameter, and then for when it is month, it is extracting the date name for the month, and it is just because when you do a date name calculation, let's do date name. When you do date name, then what date name is doing? It is picking up the whole string of the date. So I'm just picking up the leftmost 3 string of the 3 names of the month, right? The 3 letters of the month. And then I'm adding it with a dash sign, and then what I'm doing, I am extracting the year from the year. When I say str year means as soon as I do year date, it will pick up the, let's say the date is for 2022, it will say 2022. So when I do year, so it will give me the integer of 2022. I'll convert that in string, and I'm picking the rightmost part of it. That is, I'm picking 22. I'm adding it, and then it becomes what it becomes. Let's say it is for November dash FY 22, right? So like that, right? Similarly, when I do quarter, so it is not FY 22 because it is month. It is speaking for the month, so it will give the month and the year, right? It's not FY 22 because it will be if I go here and if I go do month, you'll see December dash 22, right? This is exactly what is going to come. Now for quarter, what it is doing, because you need the FI, the financial year indicator for the quarter. So how it looks? It looks FY 22-Q2. So here the same thing, when it is quarter, then you need FI, the string FI to be on the leftmost side. So if you say FI, then you add the string of what? The same thing. If the date is greater than 4, right? That is, the month is greater than 4, then the year will be of the financial year has to be the end of the financial year. So you add 1 to that, the date number. Let's say if the date year comes out to be 2022, it will become 2023, and then you choose the right hand part of the 2023, which is 23, right? But if it is less than 4, then it is going to be on the other side. means it is being 2022, it will remain 2022 only. So depending upon where the month lies, the particular year will be chosen and will get attached and appended to FI. So and then on top of it, what you are going to do, you are also going to attach a quarter. So which quarter you want to choose. So this quarter will get extracted from here in the similar way, because the Q string will be just after the date string, which is the year string, which is FI22 plus Q with a dash sign, and then you choose the particular quarter. And depending upon where the month lies, if it is lies between 4 and 6, then it will be quarter 1. If it is going to rise between 7 and 9, then it will be quarter 2. If it is going to lie between 10 and 12, then it will be quarter 3, or it will be 4, right? And year is very simple, right? The same calculation is repeated here, and you press OK. Now, after having done that, this is going to get very easily controlled, and the whole formatting is going to change. But one precaution that you have to take into consideration while doing this, ensure that the time frame also is piggybacked on the date frame formatting calculated field. Because if you remove this, for example, if you remove the time frame, then the sequence will get disturbed. In order to preserve the sequence, you may not be able to, like FI23Q4, the sequence has got changed, right? So what is happening is that sometimes the sequence will completely change. If the sequence may not remain the same. Sometimes you will find like April 23 is coming here, and then December 22 is coming here. So your sequence will get altered, because this is not going to get automatically sorted based on the sequence. So you need the time frame field, calculated field, piggybacked on this, and then you have to choose exact date and you remove the header. This is very, very important. If you don't do this, then this is not going to work. Okay. So you have to be careful about this. You make it here, and you're going to change the formatting, and then you remove the header. So then only this is going to work, otherwise not going to work. So I hope, friends, that you found this tip very, very useful. And thank you for your patient listening, and I'll come back to you next time with the next video. Thank you very much.